happening? What's happening?
What up with it? Good Friday.
What's up, man?
Dallas finally got some rain.
Shit, just now. Shit, what? Yo, y'all, we back in the building. One more week, one down.
What up with it, man?
Episode, what, 58?
58.
58, y'all. Unspoken Conversation. This DJ D-Boy, fresh the charming asshole.
Man, it's knowledge, man. What's up?
Yeah, what's up? What's up? It's your boy Flam.
Man, we got Antoine out for a second. Happy birthday, baby!
Man, shout out to the source, man. Shout out to the souls.
He out there doing his thing in Vegas, man. Be back with us next week, man. But
Hit
we
the
got a special
jackpot,
guest, though.
But yeah, before we get into all that though, we gotta say what's up to the special guest in the building.
No.
Go on ahead and introduce yourself, my man.
My name is Derek Grant, and I go about 20 years back with Donnie.
Mm-hmm.
20 years.
Got some history.
Yeah.
We got some history. I think D Grant in the building. Shout
Yeah.
out to him.
I'm a
Shit.
recovering alcoholic, and he looked at me like, "I'm just messing with you."
I was like, this is the wrong
See,
place
when
to
we
be.
first met you, I think when we first met you was transitioning out of it.
You
Yeah, I
know
think-
what? And
I
see,
think you
all
was
my
still
homeboys,
drinking,
I
but-
have to keep them on a permanent, like a timeout, almost timeout, just in case. Nah, he say that, but and I was just joking, but I got a 9-year-old, man, a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old.
Yeah, buddy.
And if I drank and had kids,
You
it would
be very
escalate.
abusive.
Yeah, it would escalate.
You
real
would be
quick.
very
Damn.
abusive.
It would escalate real quick.
Man.
Wow.
Shoot.
See, you ain't got no kids.
Nah,
you Slim, you gonna see.
But you know what though? I think I see why you all you guys, you have children. I see you guys. I didn't see definitely, Flim transition to like it just I think it take away from you. That's when it becomes recreational and habitual. Like you don't need it. You don't need it because you got more responsibilities.
Yeah.
You know what they're saying that overtake.
I don't know. I think I need it. I think I need it.
He's staring off in the
Man,
space.
like,
I don't
Like,
know,
I think I
man.
need
I
that
don't know.
shit.
Ian handling his own, man. I think Ian, like I saw last night. He walking around like Al Bundy. Like it
Boys
ain't
is
nothing.
different, man. I got boys. I got a boy and a girl, so I've seen both. Boys, they a little more reckless.
They say when you have a girl, it's like a constant emotional roller coaster. It's like, what's
with
wrong?
girls, yeah.
What's wrong?
Yeah, because with your boy, you ain't gonna do that.
Yeah.
Like, nigga, let's cry again. You gonna be like that with your boy? Like, you crying? Shit, we're allowed to cry. That is dope. That is,
I don't think
not
you
allowed
do that
to
to your boys, man. Let the man cry.
no,
Let him cry.
I mean, not cry. Like, okay, say if something happened to somebody that he really care about, he cry. That's one thing. But
Nah.
if like I punch him in the chest
Now,
and
you
he
should,
start crying, nah.
if that's the
not
case, you should do
allowed.
your girl the same way.
No, wait, Flip. No,
Man,
you can't
what-
do that.
oh,
No.
What? Hey, man, this world a lot harder on girls than it ever be on a man.
But I ain't gonna punch my
So,
daughter in the chest.
well,
Yeah, that's hard.
Oh.
That's hard work right there.
But why you punching the boy in the chest? You want to do it to the girl?
It's different.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's not.
Look, I can see it from this standpoint. And this is just like I don't have any daughters. I only have sons, right? In one sense, you want to protect a daughter, or you want to block for her, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Then on the other hand, you want your son to be able to go out there and take on the world. So you almost look at his chest as a target,
Yep.
like Dunny saying, I'm gonna tenderize you, right? I'm gonna make you tough so that you can take on the world. I get what you're saying as far as saying, hey, look, do your daughter like that. But I think to a certain extent, what I would look for, like with my niece, what I've tried to do is just educate her on how harsh life can be. Whereas with my nephew, I'm hitting
You
him.
gotta show them.
Yeah, I'm hitting
Because
him.
like girls, they'll sit down and listen to you
Mhm.
and break it down, and they'll get emotional, especially if they see that you disappointed
Right.
in them. That's their discipline. Boy, you tell them that, they'll be like, okay, I promise I won't do it again.
Man,
5 minutes later, he doing that same
Mhm.
shit.
I think this is y'all perception of the female.
No, this is experience.
Man,
I'm speaking from
I got
experience, bro.
3 sisters, 2 nieces, and I grew up with them all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and try to tell you that like that's a weaker species, or I gotta treat them different than I treat anybody else, because hey, them folks gotta know what's real, just like your boy gotta know what's real.
I
You know
get
what
what
I'm
you're
saying?
saying.
I
but-
get what you're saying. Where I mean, you might not want to be as rough, but you shouldn't hold back. Because
No, if I,
somebody-
if I have to
hold
whoop
back,
my
yeah.
daughter's ass, I'm
Yeah.
gonna tap her ass.
Yep.
But I ain't gonna
So-
punch her in the chest. Like, I mean, my son ain't gonna
Well,
punch him in the
Real?
chest to
well,
hurt him. But
You done whooped your daughters. You
I'm
ain't
saying-
whooped your daughters.
I ain't really had to.
I said, like,
No, I whooped my oldest one time. She's 23. I whooped my oldest once, and my youngest daughter, I've never whooped her. But
Slim, did your sisters and your nieces get whooping?
Yeah.
But it's like my words.
Who
do
whooped
it.
another woman?
I don't know. Whoever was passing out whoopings at the time, shit. It wasn't
I
no
see my
discrimination.
son. I had to tap him. You know, my daughter, I tell her something. She 9 times out of 10, she not gonna do it again. If she do, she ain't gonna let me see it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with girls. If they do it again, then you ain't gonna know. But that damn boy, he gonna keep fucking up in front of you.
Man, the last whooping I had to give to my son. This was last week. We on our way to school, and I was telling him to do something. He's sitting in the back seat, passenger side right. And I heard him say, yeah.
Oh.
I disconnected this arm to put it in this hand. And then I just
hit
started.
it with it.
I had to pull over, and I asked, I said, did you just yeah me? He just looked at me with big eyes. His little brother sitting to the side. Yeah, Daddy, he said it.
He Takashi them.
Yeah. So at that point, I had to tell him again, like, man, I'm not your little friend.
Yeah.
You know, you don't talk to me like that.
Yeah.
You don't talk to any grown man like that. You're going to have some respect. So, yeah, I had to get him 2 times on the way to school. Now, the amazing thing is when we at home and he get popped, it's waterworks. You know, face turn red, curly hair spike up,
The
everything.
house, it's free game at the house. There's
Yeah.
only so much you can do at the school.
Well, no, but this is on the way to school. Now, at home, he crying.
Yeah.
All the heavy
Yeah.
breathing and stuff. Man, he took that beating on the way to school like a man. Because he didn't want tears coming out of his eyes. He knew that if he walked into the school building with the, with
Oh,
the
he's got to
ribbons
deal
on-
with that all day.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, he sat back there like Toby and just,
Took that shit.
Shit like Toby.
Hey, so when he got out the car, and he had to get. Did he say I love y'all?
oh, made him say it.
I didn't even
Made him
lie.
say it. And look, his little brother was the first one. Every morning we do the same thing. I'd say seatbelts off. They take their seatbelts off. They lean forward, kiss me on the cheek. I tell him I love him. He leaned forward after his little brother knew what was up. And his little brother is, just.
See, the youngest always the more.
Yeah. He
he's more
leaned
the
up.
G.
He say, "Mwah, Daddy, love you. Have a great day." The older
Being
one,
petty.
the older one, man, he came up. He gave me the side of his face on the side of mine, like.
Oh, not the Hollywood kid.
I said, "Oh no, man, what happened to the-" like that?" He said, "Oh, Dad." I said, "Give it to me right here." Mwah. I said, "Now what's up?" He's, "I love you, Dad." Yeah. No, I'm not gonna let him go. I'm not gonna let him go without that, man. It's too much stuff to go on in the
Well, you ain't
schoolhouse
lying.
today to where you never know. You never
Right.
know when it might be that last time
Yep.
you see your kid walk into the building.
Totally agree. Like totally agree.
That's
Like
real.
I made him. Yeah, you get a whooping. And then the other thing is, though, I'm straight up about this. After I discipline my boys, I make sure to get down on their level and tell them, hey, I love you. I had to do that because of this. Do you know why you deserve that spanking? If they hit me with the shoulder, I don't know. Say, well, do you want another
I
one?
was like, yeah, come here. A little bit more.
It was because I said, nah. So then they kind of, understand it. Now,
I get
to
you.
Donnie's point, difference between a boy and a girl look at the stove. She see the flame on, she be like, no,
I
that's
ain't
hot.
gonna touch it.
A boy, look at the
It
stove.
ain't hot.
It ain't that
It
hot.
ain't now you sitting over there crying.
Yeah.
With butter on you all over your
Right.
goddamn hand.
But that's old school. But,
Yeah, they say butter make it worse. But my son called me bro one day.
oh,
Nigga.
don't
Right.
bro me.
Nigga.
Like
All I heard was, remember when the TV used to go off at midnight and you heard a ding, and all I seen was black. So I couldn't hear nor see nothing for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And his sister looking like a runaway slave because she knew it was about to pop off. What the hell you call me? Oh. Yeah, okay. This at 13. Okay. Call me bro one more time. You're going to be, you ain't going to be able to breathe. You're going to catch that boom.
Yep.
Say bro now. Why you can't breathe? But yeah, it's different with girls, man.
Yeah.
It's definitely different.
Man,
Definitely.
we need to switch to a different subject.
There you go.
No doubt. We should have ever talked about beating no kid. We're gonna have them folks
No,
out.
Yeah,
you
that's
know
what
what
I'm
I
saying.
what I have
They're
noticed
gonna
is
be
what I want
outside
to know
the damn
is,
building.
man, I commend being like, I love being around children, and I'm talking about young children having conversations with them. You know what I'm saying? It hurts me when I be around like certain kids and they like Beavis and Butthead. Like you ask them a simple
Yeah, TV raising.
No, whatever raising, like the parent.
I'm saying ain't nobody talking to them.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't blame that shit on TV, man.
I blame you. Got to blame it on the
TV
parent
and video games kill.
because like what you just
sound
said,
like a Republican right now.
Whoa!
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Talking about TV and video games is a problem. That's not the problem, bro.
It really is.
It's not the
It's
problem.
part of
It ain't the problem, but it's a part. It's a
Well,
part of the problem.
It's not the
what
problem.
I
I done read studies because I've been, I got a little son right now, so I done read studies.
So you let him sit and play
about
play
screen
video games
time,
all day?
about what screen time do to your kids and stuff like that. It's never proven that video games make your kid any more violent and stupid.
I'm
and
not really a
anything
study
like
checker.
that.
So
just
So
like-
it's not proven, man. Like, if TV is the problem, then the problem is the parent, because the parent let them watch.
and
TV.
Exactly.
And so that was my point.
So don't say
It's the
TV then.
So you put your so
That's
you gonna
not
let your
TV.
son watch TV every day all day?
That's not TV,
I'm asking
bro.
you a question. Are you gonna let your son watch TV all day and play
If
video
I let
games
my
all
son
day?
do anything that's detrimental to him, that's my fault, not what the tool that was used
But
to
I'm
make him
saying
detrimental.
TV is ultimately a cause of their
I
problem.
see
If
your
you
point.
let,
I see your
I see the
point.
point too. I'm not saying that
But
TV
you tricking me though, and getting me to where you going.
Flip it get you.
I'm
It
just-
get you.
Hey,
But no,
man.
ultimately, yes, it is the parent.
and that was my point. What I was saying, like I done been around some kids. Like I done been around. I'm telling you, like I know if I'm around your children, I can have a conversation with them. They'll understand me like I'm talking to you. Like not nothing out of bounds, but you know.
Yeah.
Same thing about with Ian. Ian, like when he got, I'm gonna talk to him and he gonna be like, yeah, I'm, this and this. This is what I had going today. Have proper sentences. Same thing about meet your sons. I done been around kids 5, 6 years, and now we living in technology where you can learn a little faster. They still, and I'm like, you shouldn't be. If I ask you how was your day, you know what I'm saying? What do you plan on doing this weekend?
My ultimate point was not that TV is the reason kids is fucked up. You was talking about communication.
No, but my point
having a
circle back
conversation.
to it. I blame it on the parent. It don't have nothing
You
to do
have
with
to.
TV.
You have to ultimately blame it on the parent because the parent paid the bill. The parent cut the TV on. The parent said you can watch it. But if you sitting there just watching that TV that your parents said you can watch, what are you getting from that TV?
Bruh,
That's my ultimate point.
I
Not
put
the
it like
TV is
this.
just running the household. No.
Shoot, like, I consider myself a fairly intelligent person. Now I've learned most of the stuff that I know from watching TV.
I agree. And
it's not watching, it's what you watch.
It's what you and it's what you take from it too.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's what you take from it too, and that's a
So-
fact. Whether it be watching it, reading it, listening to it, whatever. If you take it and you soak it in, no doubt.
I grew up watching Channel 13. I grew up on the back porch with my granddad. All right, so the stuff that I watch, I never watched cartoons. Hated cartoons just because I always knew who was going to win, who was going to lose, right? So we watched the news, then we watched PBS. I watched a whole bunch of Animal Kingdom stuff. I watched a whole bunch of science shows, all that type of thing. But nowadays they got SpongeBob SquarePants. Man, and when I let my kids watch SpongeBob SquarePants, they go nuts afterwards. And then you were talking about screen time. If I give them their iPads and then I take the iPads away from them, I'm serious. There is a sensory overload in just doing this all day long.
Yeah.
And when you take it from them, man, it's like a crackhead.
But see,
I mean,
you
they shake.
you speaking from experience.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
speaking
yeah.
from experience.
Right.
You can't let your kids sit in front of a TV all day. This is
No.
experience.
No.
Man.
Like we had to take the video game from my son. He can only play on weekends now.
Yep.
He used to play his video game every day. Grades.
Yep.
We took that shit away from him. Make him read a book. Make him do his homework. Make him study. Have a conversation with your mom and me. I call him, talk on the phone 30 minutes. Grades.
Yep.
Man,
That's my point.
me personally, I play video games all day, every day.
Did that explain it?
You know what I'm saying? So,
Man, I'm gonna tell you one of the
but
funnest
see,
I ain't
everybody
gonna lie.
different.
I
Though.
ain't gonna lie.
Everybody ain't.
Yeah, right.
You know, you a brainiac. I ain't gonna lie. You a
I'm gonna agree
brainiac.
with
Everybody
you.
ain't the
and,
same.
and that's my point. So you don't sit there and say that video games will do this to you.
No,
video
not
games
all
will do
video
that.
Not
games.
all
No,
video
not
games,
all.
Flynn.
Well,
I'm
but
not
y'all,
saying
but that's exactly what you just said.
No, he didn't say
I didn't
that.
say
I'm
that.
gonna
I
defend
didn't-
it.
I did not say that.
He said playing video games was the direct cause of his son.
No. I said
grades.
playing video games every
Every day.
single day.
And I just told you I play video games. Hell, I might
Everybody,
play video
okay,
games
well,
every
you might be an
day.
exception to the rule. Shit.
Say,
You might be that
and-
one, 17%.
Well,
that
well,
they can still do it.
what I'm trying to tell you is don't sit there and say a blanket statement like that. Know your child. Know if that's not for him, then that's
That's
not
what
for him.
I just told
And-
you,
and-
Flim.
and-
I'm speaking off of experience. That's
And-
why
and
that
I'm-
was
and
my
I-
point.
I'ma
I'm
say
speaking on
this,
my child.
And I'm gonna say this. Shout out to my little homie Ryland. I call him Mr. We call him Mr. IT guy. Man, he ever since he was young, he always been smaller than everybody. So he always he couldn't play the video game when the big boys play. So he'll go sneak and play. Man, but he got good at it. And he got a natural sense at it. He's still smart. Man, we call him the IT guy because if the internet if we all around the family house right now, internet go down, cable go down, Ryland, where you at? He know how to fix it, and he can come in here and set up these 2 TVs right now with 2 different systems, and I think he may be in the 6th grade. You know what I'm saying?
That's good stuff.
That's
Yeah.
his niche. You know what I'm saying? So video games.
And that came from video games.
Yeah, like video games help him. Like, all right, we're gonna set up. Like they'll come in and set up a projector.
I
and
guess
get
I
Xbox
just grew
in.
up in a different time. We was outside playing.
Yeah,
We was outside communicating with other people. We didn't sit in front of a TV.
I mean, and
we just didn't do that shit.
I'm in IT. Video games are the direct result of why I got into IT. So,
That's understandable.
And I grew up in the country and played outside
I'm
sometimes.
about to say, you had to play the video.
And, I played with guns. I went fishing, but I played video games.
Now don't
know,
give you
so-
one of those,
Yeah.
goddammit.
Yeah.
I don't want.
So,
I don't want to be around you with no gun.
what all I'm trying to say is, man, just like don't make blanket statements like that, because that lead to all types of misconceptions, and then you be wondering why your kids still feeling. I took the video game. Well, you can.
Every kid is different. You got to know your kid. Like
yeah,
you said,
gotta sit down.
you got to know your
kid.
kid. So I wouldn't blame. I'm not gonna blame. Oh, you got an impediment because of the video games. No, I'll take that shit away, and I ain't gonna say, well, damn, he's still failing. What? No. That's not the way you raise your child. Trust me, bro. I got a college graduate, so I think I did pretty good the first go around. So I know a little bit about what I'm saying, but like you say, you got to know your kid. Every kid is different, whether it be smarts, whether it be athletics.
Yeah.
You got the one kid who ain't never got to work on his jump shot. He come to gym busting ass. Now your son, he just got to work a little harder. And you see what I'm saying? But you know, we like to agree to disagree on this show.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
One of the funnest nights though we've ever had in my house. We turned the TV off. I grabbed some dominoes because we use dominoes for math.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hey, we going by fives, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, so forth and so on. And my boys, when they got to learning how to play dominoes, and I could see the 7-year-old calculating, that's 12. Is that a multiple of 5? What's a multiple, Daddy? Just like your brother said, tell him again, count it off. So then they learning how to count right then and there.
Right.
And then next thing you know, they learn how to lose too, just because. Now this is something else. You talk about you treat them the same. I don't give away victories. You win or you lose with me. It's none of that. If you play this right here, then you could get it. No, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hit you just like you're a grown man, because that's the way I was done.
Yeah.
So yeah, that to me, one of the funnest times in our house was playing dominoes, and I think that's gonna be one of the most memorable things that my kids did with me too.
Man, that's the first thing I remember. My first memory was learning how to play dominoes at the age of 3, 4 years old. Like I like anything. I don't remember nothing else, but I remember climbing up at the table. I'm like, oh, what's this? And Mom like, I'm gonna teach it. You count 5. 1, 2, 3. I'm like 5, and like. I think and it's still to this day, like you just said, like I think that's still important where, teaching kids some simple things like that. Back to what you saying about iPads, I'm still trying to figure out how kids would grab a phone and would just go deep in a phone. It's kind of like a third sense or fifth sense or something that's connected to something. I don't know. Like they'll get a phone and they'll just start going deep into it and configuring it and pressing buttons and understanding how to work the components quicker than, I had to learn how to work a Nintendo back in 89 and 88.
Well, a big part of that is because the phone is built to be intuitive. That's the whole selling point of your phone. That's the selling point of an iPhone. iPhone got one button. That's the only. Press the button, shit happen. Press it again, some more shit happen. And then you can interact with the screen. That was the appeal to the iPad. That's what iPads are for. I mean, iPhones or anything Apple makes. They make it super simple and super intuitive, as opposed to Android is more about the functionality and the complexity of what you can do with your phone. So that's why it seemed like he just automatically know, because they making it so the dumbest person in the world can still use this.
I.e. kids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
So that's
Mm.
why.
Good point.
Ooh.
Ain't never thought about it that way, because that motherfucker, and I still be iPhone dumb.
Hey, so
sometimes.
let me ask my question. You think if your child was walking home from school and they walk up to the wrong door, they'll realize they're at the wrong door?
Speaking on that,
See,
that was a
I
nice
don't-
segue, bro. Good
I-
shit. Nah,
I.e.
I ain't gonna say that, but
good shit.
But
Nah.
I ain't gonna go in. I can't answer that question because
Yeah.
I don't know what another person do. But I will say this: I think it's sad that I got worried about somebody thinking my son the wrong person and shooting him.
Right.
I think that's some shit I worry about. That's some shit I think about,
Yeah.
and that's some shit I be like, how this gonna change?
By the
How do you get
especially
that
by the
changed?
police.
Yeah.
You know,
Especially by
so
the police.
that's something that be on my mind. Like, I mean, you know, what I mean, shit. I'm 6'3", 230 something pounds. Like, what if my son's 6? I see how people look at me when they catch a corner and I'm standing there. You know what I'm saying? I can see it in your eyes sometimes. Like, goddamn, you know what I'm saying?
But
So,
you know, some of them that scared. Well, you know, most of them fear us.
yeah. I mean,
Even if we ain't that big, they gonna say big black guy.
yeah, but see, that's the thing
Because
though.
they so scared of us.
Statistics show that you can show the same a white dude and a black dude. They can be the same height, same build, and they're gonna say the black dude is bigger because of perception.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So the thing about this, how do we change perception? You know, and that's that. And what we alluding to right now, the Amagai case or
Yeah.
whatever, that's what I get from that. Like when it was all said and done, that man didn't have to die.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? And everybody who came out, you know, they got their feelings about the sentence. So, well, she should have got more time. She got less time. You should be madder than that. You shouldn't be madder than that. How do we fix that? You know what I'm saying? Because that shit wasn't supposed to happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody supposed to be sitting in their house watching TV, eating ice cream,
And get
and
shot.
somebody bust in and shoot them and say
Yeah.
they was scared.
So what
You know what I'm
y'all
saying?
want to touch on the 10 years first, or you want to touch on? Well, let's touch on the 10 years first. Let's touch on the sentence, because it was murder, first degree murder. Because you remember last week I was on some. They not gonna convict her of murder. They're gonna probably dump it down to manslaughter. She'll get about 7 years, 12 years max maybe. When they convicted her of murder in an hour and a half, I was like, oh shit. Okay, well we still got to go through the sentencing phase. It's gonna take the rest of this day. Maybe they'll sentence her in the morning. They came back in what? 3 hours or something like that, wasn't it? Like a few hours?
It was a day.
Yeah, I think it was 2 days.
Yeah,
No,
I
no,
know.
no,
It
no.
was like
No, I mean the sentencing phase, because they came
I
back
think they
after
did.
lunch and sentenced her. I think it was like 2 hours later. What, like 2? It was something like that. But
I can't.
so I'm
give you
thinking,
no
okay, shit, damn, they already coming back the same day, and then they said 10 years. Psh, come on, man.
So what do you think should be? How many years should she have got?
Me, in my opinion, I don't want people coming. This is my opinion. I feel I'm not gonna say life because I don't think it was premeditated. Now, the worst thing that she did, and this I'm gonna say all this before I say how many years. The worst thing that I think she did, like she may have went into the wrong apartment. She may have been distracted. She may have seen him, got scared to death, pulled out her gun, shot him twice. But the worst thing she did was walk out of the house while that man bleeding to death, texting, said she tried, because what fucked her up is when dude said, have you ever been trained in CPR? Yes. Did you perform CPR? No, I've never performed on nobody, I know how. But haven't you been trained to do CPR? Yes. Well, why didn't you perform? Because I've never done it. Didn't make no damn sense. This man is in there, but she didn't have any blood on her whole uniform. So I said that to say that she didn't show any compassion to me.
But the thing is, and this is what Flim said, that man didn't deserve to die. You shot this man twice.
I'm saying the aftermath.
No, you gave him 2 bullets.
No, she shot him once. The first one missed. One of them missed. She shot him once.
Okay,
But hell, I don't care.
That was the only part. Yeah, that was the only part of her training that she did the right way.
That she did the right way was the kill shot.
Law enforcement, they're taught. Okay, it's gonna get 2 shots, pop.
Yeah.
You know, so
on duty.
Yeah, I understand that. But man, this subject, it cuts close to me, and the reason why I say that is the church that both of them went to was the church I grew up at. It's about
I never knew that, bro.
10 minutes away from here on the Hampton Road. The seeing certain things as far as on the news when he was singing, at that pulpit, that same pulpit that I stood at and gave Easter speeches, or that I talked to the congregation about things or whatnot. So it hurts, right? I didn't know him personally, but when you spend the better part of 15, 20 years at that particular church, and the minister that is there right now, the same minister that taught me growing up,
Right.
I feel close. You know, you had that 6 degrees of separation.
Right.
Man,
Yeah.
mine is just 1 degree.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he and I
Yeah.
spoke to the same minister all the time. So, do I think she made a mistake? Like you just said, I don't think it was premeditated.
Mhm.
It is the gravest mistake that you can make, taking somebody's
Taking
life by
somebody's life.
mistake. Even if you do it when you get out here on 35 and you're intoxicated and you
Yeah.
run somebody over, that is truly detrimental when you end someone's life. I think that the quandary in this whole thing was, Dunny, you hit on this too. I did not think she would get convicted of murder. She got convicted of murder,
Right.
but then that same jury, I think, realized that, okay, we gave them the conviction. Now when it comes time to the penalty phase, they kind of said, all right, we went hard in this direction.
Right.
Do we have to go so hard in the other direction? We're going to punish her. You know, we're not going to give a slap on the wrist with 3 years, but we're going to put her in the slammer for a decade. And I know everybody's alluding to, oh, man, she got 10, so she's going to do 3.5. She'll
No,
be
she's
out.
not.
Nobody knows that yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that is
But
up to the parole board.
Have y'all heard a couple of jurors came out and done some interviews. I don't know if y'all caught it today or last night or yesterday. And
Talking about the white dude and the black chick.
yeah,
Yeah.
and some of it's kind of interesting on when we really think these jurors, this was the first time I saw 2 jurors that was, to me, I'm gonna say millennials. You know, like they really was like, they broke it down. They was like, the Sexton stuff, we didn't understand why they brought that up. That didn't matter. They was like, everybody was crying and everybody felt like it was an honest mistake. They was like, we didn't think, they was like, the prosecuting attorney kept trying to make it, like, it was kind of like they was trying to say, he would have been 28 years. She need to get 28 years, an eye for an eye, 2 for 2. And they was like,
It's no such thing in an eye for eye.
yeah,
murder.
and that's how they looked at it. It was like,
Yeah, because
nah,
the
we
only
didn't-
eye for eye for that is lethal injection, and I ain't going. Even if somebody killed my family member, I don't want
and they
them
didn't
to get
believe in
lethal. I
that.
want them to life.
They kind of looked at it like it truly was an honest mistake.
But
And you know what I'm saying?
But a lot of it had to do what she did after that.
Nah.
What people may feel like was
Nah,
a quote unquote honest mistake is what
it
fucked
don't-
her over.
it ain't got nothing to do with what she did after that.
What?
Biggest mistake that she made was she knew somebody was in her house, and she opened the door.
So you don't think that if she would have showed a lot of compassion, tried
Nah,
to save this man's life, had blood all over, crying
look,
like I'm so
no,
sorry,
no, look,
her
look.
ass would have got off. I guarantee you, she would have got
what
off.
I'm trying to say to you is, like, you ain't hear what I'm saying. Okay, you knew somebody was in your house. You were scared. You was fearing for your life, but you opened the door.
Yeah.
You know somebody in your house. You scared. You fearing for your life, wondering what they gonna do. But you opened the
you
door.
went in the house, yeah. You remember I said
You
that in the
don't,
text.
you don't,
yeah.
you don't have to open. You could have just went back downstairs
and
and
called.
called whoever you needed to
Even if I
call.
pull up to my
the
house.
radio.
Yeah.
Just here, hey, come over
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
That's
you
like
could-
if you pull
coulda
up to your house and you
yeah.
got your gun and you see people in your house, you ain't just
yeah,
busting there
but
like,
see,
hey.
but see,
Yeah, exactly.
I tell y'all
I get
this
what you're
story.
saying.
I tell a story because this is what she was thinking. One day, I got a homeboy. He rent houses in Ford City, right? So we go to his one house that he got that was vacant all the time. We used to go there and kick it, right? And one day I got over there before he got over there, and it was somebody in his house. So I was like, damn, there's somebody in his house. They moving around. And I bust in. I was finna whoop whoever in that house ass, right? I had already preconceived in my mind, like, man, you my homeboy house. I'm finna come here and whoop your ass. Like, what you doing in here? It turned out it was his homeboy. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't get to whoop no ass that day. So, but I had in my mind at that time that I'm finna go in here and beat this motherfucker ass because he in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
But just think that could have went
yeah.
super left if he would have had a pistol in his hand.
And that's
Yeah.
exactly what she was thinking when she went into her
I'm
house.
finna go in there and kill this.
I'm finna
And
go
she
in
said
here.
it on the
No,
stand.
she said that.
She said
Yeah.
my
She said
intent was to kill him.
But that's what I'm saying. She wasn't fearing for her life. She was thinking she was finna be a hero. She was finna have a story to tell. Somebody was in my house and I'm a big bad policeman and I'm finna go in here and I'm finna rectify this situation.
Yeah,
And,
I think
and
it
she
was
was
fear
wrong
and
the
anger.
whole way around. Now, once she realized what she had done, I'm pretty sure she was remorseful and she felt
She was
sorry.
shocked.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
was
but
She was shocked.
but when she went in there, she wasn't scared because she knew she had a gun on her hip and she felt like them you picked the wrong one.
I get your point.
That's
Because if
what
you're
she was
scared,
thinking.
I
because
think
if you're scared, you're not just gonna open that door. I get your point.
Yeah, but then I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that
I get your
the
point.
thing is, though, and in the society that we live in today, where everybody wants to protect their Second Amendment rights, and
Right.
if you ask somebody what the Sixth Amendment is, they couldn't tell you. But she had the power of God on her hip, the power to take life, right?
Yeah.
I think that you can have a gun in your hand and still be scared.
Yeah,
Right,
well,
and
absolutely.
I think you can act irrationally. That she did that
Absolutely.
in this situation. Now she's paying a
Now-
price, maybe not the price that everyone wants her to pay, but she is paying a price for her
Well,
actions
if,
right
if
now.
she was scared, she was brave than motherfucker. Cause you scared, you don't open that door.
I think it was
I've
anger,
seen
anger and
some
fear.
people do some dumb stuff.
Yeah, I
even
think
when
it was
they're
anger
afraid.
and fear too, because she didn't
Yeah.
even say get your hands up. She said she did, but the witness
Nah.
said they didn't hear that. She bust that door open and fired 2 shots.
If you really feel like the person on the other side of this door is gonna kill me if I open this door, you will not open that door. You can't tell me if you thought that as soon as you went out that door, it was somebody on the other side of that door who was gonna potentially kill you, that you gonna go open that door.
I'm staying right here.
Who
I'm
not gonna stay right here?
I'm not gonna play. I'm not gonna play white devil's advocate, but
White.
you know, cops are trained different.
Right.
No, it don't matter who you are, bro.
But you know, sometimes,
and
like-
at that point, she wasn't a cop. She was just a civilian going in
Yeah,
the
but
house.
you know, when they take that over, they're a cop 24/7.
well,
Technically,
I mean, you know, just like Spider-Man, that uncle told him, great power comes great responsibility.
No.
So if your ass is finna run through that motherfucking door and shoot
I think
somebody down,
Puffy told Biggie that too.
now I think she should have got at least 25.
I'm just saying.
I think she should have got at least 25.
I'm just saying she
You
ain't.
think 10
She
is-
not as much of a victim as everybody
I'm-
trying.
Oh
to
no,
play
hell no,
out.
she ain't no victim.
No, she's
and
not a
see,
victim
and
at
Flim, that's
all,
my
yeah.
thing. The shit she did after, like if she would have showed more compassion, tried to, because the medical experts said if she would have just performed, because when the black cops got there, he was unconscious, but he was still breathing, and they was trying to save him, but he had already lost. Like it took them like 3 minutes to get that thing.
Well, I think she was
So
thinking. I
she
think
probably could have saved his life. That
Nah.
fucked her because she showed no. And then 2 days later, you sexting, talking about going to get drunk and fucking. 2 days later, but you remorseful.
I mean, I think the
on,
whole
man.
time she was thinking about herself. She was thinking
Absolutely.
the whole time.
Absolutely.
But we
She-
live in a
and-
selfish society.
I totally
man.
agree.
It's all
I
about
totally
me.
agree. And they took.
Yeah.
Did you see how the police took her? Oh, they taking her down to the car.
and that's the
camera.
part that's
That's
the part that
protocol.
probably got me.
That's
that
protocol.
We
I mean,
we like it goes to what you said of how we as black people, the perception of black people portrayed, and she instantly went to self-care, being a like it almost like somebody had to hit on the head, like you really not the victim. You not the victim. You know what I'm saying? But until then, it happened. And I don't even think it. That's the thing is that's the mental part. I think she gonna continue to have to go through because she mentally probably still feel that she's hurting. And I understand that she's hurting, but she ain't gonna never. Her hurt is gonna always be more than a life that she took. Like I think she feels like, oh my God, I got all of this, but you was in control of the whole situation. Like, and I don't think she'll ever understand, like, except that you was in control of the situation. Like, you could, like, you, like nobody else, and you had all the power in the world, and you took your privilege, and you took a life. You know what I'm saying?
well, I think that's what she was meaning to do the whole time.
Yeah,
She was
I
meaning
mean,
to
she
take a
said-
life.
she said it on the
it's
stand.
record.
But
It's on record.
Yeah, she said.
But she was thinking that the result of her taking that life gonna be her being a hero, her being an example of why you should have a gun and a big bad white woman, you know, protecting
Right.
herself.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And it just wasn't the case.
Yeah.
And then you like, oh, woe is me. No, you should have checked yourself from the
Yeah.
start. I mean,
Yeah.
because that thing on your hip ain't no toy.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm
and
sure
I think
ain't. It damn
people,
sure ain't.
I think people think about it as like a cloak of invincibility when you got a gun. I mean, and in actuality, the
Shit,
mo-
a gun will get you killed as
Nah,
quick as you kill somebody
see,
with it.
And that's my thing about guns, guys. You know, like when they talk about school shootings, they be like, well, you should give a teacher a gun. If you in the room, the more guns in that room, the less chances of your ass surviving.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? No matter who got them
You're right. That's just simple.
You don't know where the bullet's coming from.
You know what I'm saying?
And honestly, if we had somebody living in 1755 or 60, they'll tell you, like, we pulled a gun. Like, pull out, we gonna have a duel.
Shit, look at the old schools now. Anytime some jump off at a family reunion, who gonna show their little 38 first?
Yeah.
The older nigga. Or either a blade. They ain't finna, man, listen. But I feel like she is more, I can't say that she's zero remorseful. I can't say that, I don't know. But I think she's more hurt or more selfishly hurt as far than her being remorseful for taking that man's life.
But it's not about remorse. It's about what you did.
Yeah.
You did what you did. And you know, with the people hugging her and stuff like that, I mean, they got to live their lives too. So, whatever they need to do so they'll feel better about going on about their lives, that's fine. But the bottom line is she did what she did. She needs to be punished. She needs to be punished accordingly. And, we move on from there.
I'm going to just say this. We talked about it in our group chat. The brother, you got the right to forgive and do whatever.
Absolutely.
Code of ethics still matter when you on the job. The judge, the officer, you still gotta do your job. There's no reason you go down there and show favoritism because you wouldn't do it if it was a petty crime coming there with some crack and he'd be like, "I was sorry."
You gonna pick his hair?
Are you gonna be like, you know what? Let me hug you. Hair. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't do it. You would look at it. You would look at it differently. And so, Judge Tammy went from auntie to you the stepwife.
She sit at the table by herself at the reunion.
Right, we don't want you nowhere near the
get
table.
no potato salad.
No potato.
You get your plate last. You sit your ass over there.
You sit over there in the corner and
Just don't look over
understand what you did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You get what you did.
You get the potato salad Jeanette made.
Right. No, you get the snowball shit. The shit got the chunks and all mustard.
Jeanette,
you get that.
Jeanette used Hellman's in her potato salad.
So, you know what I'm saying? And I listen, and it ain't nothing, and this is not a bash against women at all. It's pure ethics in this. Judge, you could have easily went back to your chambers and vented as much as you wanted.
Yeah.
You really kind of, I really can't understand. Like, it's code of ethics. That's all I'm talking about. Code of ethics. You was at the job.
You think photo ops?
You're a state job. That means the state pays you.
You think it was photo ops too?
I think it's
you never know, man.
I just think it's black people in like, especially
we
like now
we got like this part is
especially like
this is the meat of this shit.
Like Southern black people or like, we all on this, we shall overcome. That's like nonviolence. Let's go and march it out. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just gotta be mad.
Look, okay, so this is the thing. I'm trying to hit the brake pedal a little bit and rush into judgment on what happened in the courtroom as far as, criticizing whoever it was that what they did. In the same way, I'm trying to be judicial in the way that I allow other people to have their opinions, which you completely, you can have your opinion on whatever.
Yeah.
My question is this, though. Do we know everything? All right, and what I mean by that is there are accounts that that the judge didn't bring the Bible out just like she said, "Oh, you know what? I got to go get the Bible, baby," and then brought it back to her.
Right.
Reports are Amber asked for it because she didn't have a Bible, right? Yeah. So that to me changes a little bit for everybody that says that she is acting beyond separation of state and church. If Amber asked for it and the judge saw it in her heart to give it to her, then that to me changes the perception of things. Now the other thing is this: I think everything got thrown out of whack the minute that Brent stood up and said, "Can I hug her?"
Yeah.
That's where everything changed. And every situation is different. So sometimes you have this was one of the most confusing, one of the most heart-wrenching situations ever because it was such a fatal mistake made. But there are other situations where you say, well, I mean, would you do this for Jeffrey Dahmer? But no, he set out and said, man, I'm going to kill as many people as I possibly can on purpose, right? Now, if she made a mistake, if she was distracted or whatever, that's up for debate. But what I'm saying is when Brent stood up to hug her, that changed everything. It threw everything into an emotional tailspin to where everybody in there was dealing with the fact that for everybody that was wanting to see justice, this 18-year-old man stood up and he showed them Jesus. That's where it threw everything into a tailspin. I think it was difficult for all of them to witness what they saw and to digest that.
But we have a judge in place to be neutral.
She was neutral, man. She was neutral throughout the entire.
She was emotional. She cried. They guys think she teary-eyed a few times. My thing is when she hugged Amber, that shouldn't have been. That's after the judgment. That's after everything was over with, right? It still doesn't matter. You walk to your chambers and you still be neutral. That's it. That's it. That's just it. That's just like a referee going over shaking Bill Belichick hand after he called called a fumble or something like
I get your point.
After the game tomorrow, my little boy is gonna play in a flag football game, and this happens every Saturday. We play in the game. The referees call everything that they call. After the game is over with, he knows I tell him, hey, man, go tell the refs thank you for being here. So the referees look at him and be like, hey, man, I appreciate it. Now, they know him, 26. Oh, man, 26. The other thing that they do is they tell him, hey, man, next time if you're cutting outside, you spin back to the inside. Then you could have got more yards.
Now, you at a level where it's really not as serious as it should.
I get that, but when you say referees, I think that after the contest is over, if during the game the referees said, hey, 26, spin to the inside, then that's where we say, whoa, wait a minute, man, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But after the contest is over with, if their approach to refereeing and officiating the game is fair and balanced throughout the entire situation, man, after the game, they can hug my boy, high-five him, tell him he did good, tell him he did bad. And I still got to be all right with it as well as the other team.
I look at it, you just still on the clock.
Well, what the thing is, man, like, I think a lot of people get a misconception about justice versus revenge.
Right.
Justice is impartial. Justice is this happened. This is the consequences of what happened. Revenge is like you'll never get enough. That's just constant hunger. Like some people, nothing could have happened in their courtroom. They could have beat her ass right there in the courtroom.
Still wouldn't have been enough for some people.
Oh yeah.
And them the people that's gonna die early from stress and from
and they holding on to a lot of anger.
You gotta let some of that go.
See, like a lot of people mistook me saying, oh, Donnie, you saying this because of the boy? No. I can't tell that young man how to grieve. That's his brother. But my whole thing is because I know how it feels to have to forgive somebody for yourself. Like, I'll never forgive you for you. It would depend on what you do. I mean, but something that severe, no, I can't. I can't forgive you for you. Now, I can forgive you for me. Like you say, I don't want to hold these demons and have gray hair in 6 months. No. But and not saying that, hey, him hugging her was wrong. Again, he can grieve any way he wants to. But me personally, I wouldn't have been able to give her a hug because now I'm forgiving you for you now. Now I'm making you feel better.
He might have needed that hug, though.
Yeah, see,
I get it.
That's it.
See, I didn't think about it that way.
Point. Yeah.
You're right. But for me, personally,
I'm
too soon.
You don't know. He could have felt like he wanted to choke the shit out of her while he was hugging her.
I'm saying me. I'm saying how
Yeah.
I feel. Like him, hey, I don't knock him, blame him. Hey, if that's the way you grieve, whatever. To me, that took a lot of guts. That took a lot, like you say, that ain't nothing but Jesus right there.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I realized in watching that clip. When he got out of the stand, as many movies as I watch, and as crazy as my brain is, I'm sitting there saying to myself, man, now I already knew what the result was going to be from what everybody was talking about, but it could have easily been, a movie. It's like,
oh, I was on some
shit,
he ain't
right?
finna.
But the judge, I think the judge, and even when she said yes, it was at that particular time, the undercurrent of who he is, who his family is, and everybody associated with the victim, the true victim. I think at that point, she could see the spirit. We are a spiritual people.
Right.
We are a spiritual people. Now, we sometimes get ignorant and we become an angry people, but I think she saw the spirit of goodness and grace and forgiveness in his heart to where she didn't have a choice but to say, yeah, go ahead and hug her. Whereas any other situation, yeah, you've seen courtrooms where somebody say, yeah, he did it, and the next thing you know, they jumping over, a railing to kill somebody. And I didn't. It was what gave me chills is him walking up to her, thinking that anything could happen right now, and then for him to share a real embrace with her, and it gave me chills. I can't judge him if he's right or wrong. He dealt with it the way that he could, and that's he's entitled to that.
Absolutely.
Way more than I am to say, man, what is he?
Yeah.
Don't he know that we need more Malcolm X instead of MLK?
Yeah.
Nah,
Exactly.
we need him to grieve the way that he wants to
Yeah,
grieve.
he
And
grieves.
when he apologized to his family, he owes me nothing.
Right.
But to say, my family may not know this, my family may not agree with this, he got to fly back home with his mom and dad. He don't owe me nothing. He
Right.
owes nobody else anything.
Nothing. Yeah, that was his brother.
Yeah.
But my thing was, as a whole, like, we are so quick to forgive. I mean, we've been doing it for 400 years. Forgive. Let's turn the other cheek. Then we get hit in that cheek. Turn it again. Then we get hit in that. I've always said the only way that we're going to start seeing change is when we get in their pockets. And I'm not condoning violence or if some of their blood is shed. Period. Again, I ain't telling nobody.
Violence,
But no, I'm not saying go out and shed somebody's blood. I'm saying that will be
but it'll fix it.
that will bring.
Well, I get what he's saying.
Listen,
I understand what he's saying.
you have a child, right?
Yeah.
If your child keep getting in trouble at school and he come home every day with a note from school and all you say is, hey, son, go back to school, try it again. Hey, we're going to try it again. He keep coming. But if he come home one day with that letter and you tear his ass up, see, it's something about pain
I feel,
that makes you.
I feel like that'll be teaching my son to be violent.
Come on, fam.
Let it show. Let it show.
What's
With
that?
whooping your kids makes them prone to violence.
But when because I remember back in the day we was getting our ass whooped.
Yeah.
I ain't never had to worry about nobody coming to school and shooting it up. That shit wasn't happening back then. But now that you can't touch your child and discipline your child, I'm not saying that'll fix mental health.
Yeah,
But
now,
I mean,
abuse,
shit, you gotta
abuse,
think
I
abuse
think-
is one thing.
Yeah. But
I ain't
discipline
gonna
the
abuse my
child.
child, but I'm gonna discipline him.
Yeah.
Just saying,
And-
man. No.
Okay. And about 3-4 years, Flynn, we gonna
I'm not saying.
we gonna revisit this
I'm
when your
not-
little man get a
and-
little older.
And I'm never saying that you shouldn't discipline your child, but don't think violence is gonna fix stuff.
But
bro.
I'm
Right.
not. But my
There's a
discipline is not
there's a
violence.
difference though in
It's-
discipline and violence.
I'm not showing my
Yeah.
son violence.
Man, I'm gonna say this, and this is just real. Like we focus on things that really don't. You be like we as a culture. Look at the strategy. Look at the strategy. This country is built on capitalism. When they realize when the superior, white or whoever, however you want to put it, when they realize that they are getting challenged in that area of the game capitalism, they create another rule to keep you down. Let's say redlining in housing, or let's say drug epidemics to slow you down. And until we realize that, hey, we living in a capitalist country, and the only way we can get up and be stable is keeping our building capital, building capital and really like circulating the capital among your culture and building it that way. All this other stuff and protesting and that ain't doing shit.
Well, I'm gonna put it like
Nope.
this, man. And you said with it's being a capitalist society, you have to capitalize off somebody to be a capitalist. That means you getting over on somebody. So the way the society is built, it's always gonna be a low man.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Always
yeah.
gonna be a low man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Your job is not to be that motherfucker.
Right, and it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. But you it's
got
all
one
right.
job.
And what you said, capitalism is built off. It's somebody got to be the slave.
I mean,
Somebody
you
gotta
can't
be the slave.
capitalize.
Yeah, you gotta have the worker.
You-
You
Yeah,
you
can't
gotta have the worker.
capitalize. You can't be a capitalist if it's nobody to capitalize on.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
right.
So you have to have somebody to capitalize on.
Right.
And you're right. They put in rules to keep them on top because hell, they don't want to be the low man.
They know,
You
and
what
they
I'm saying? So-
if they easy to make the rules to pass it, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Is that we have to be smarter and put our energy on that same type of strategy. It's like you say, we are spiritual, we spiritual, but sometimes we gotta have that Malcolm in it. Sometimes we gotta stick that feet to the fire and be like, no, I see the generation next where it's gonna be softer for them.
But see,
You know what I'm saying?
but I don't think getting emotional or reacting in a certain way or a violent way is the way that you do that. You at that point, like
No,
really.
I'm not saying about. I'm
Yeah,
saying
Donnie said,
No, 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 I didn't.
What?
say that?
That's what I'm trying to
I
say.
said that might change some
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Okay.
That, like outrage ain't gonna get you
Right.
where you want
Nah.
to go. You gotta be calm and calculated and strategic about what you're doing now and what you're gonna be doing in the future.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, and that's what I mean by like keeping your feet to the ground. Like it may not look like the right decision, but it's calculated,
Yeah.
and you see the next steps in the generation. Like you got to stick your feet to the ground, and a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, we bend too much.
But our
like
brothers and sisters keep dying with our feet on the ground and being strategic. They keep.
well, you know
dying.
they're gonna it's gonna be casualties of war. Any type of revolution
Shit,
gonna have
400,
casualties.
500 years
I'm not.
of war.
I don't think we've been
It's
actually been
a
doing.
one-sided war. Man.
I don't.
It's really not a war.
Well, I don't think we've been effective in our actions. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole reason why we're having this conversation right now. But like, it has to be a actual plan. Not I see some stuff happen, and I'm just gonna react.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
no,
change
no.
to me, the
Yeah, they'll
change
shut that
comes
down
from
quick.
within, right? And then, like you said, you
I
have a
agree.
son, you have kids, right? And I have kids, so it's pretty difficult for me to think that I'm gonna help some of my 40-year-old friends
That's
change
true.
their ways or
Oh,
their
yeah.
perspective on
Yeah,
life.
it's impossible.
So what I have to do is I have to plant that seed within my kids, within my nieces and nephews. Also, I mean, where I live, man, okay, so I live in Frisco.
Mm-hmm.
There are no gangsters in Frisco.
Yeah.
Right, I'm serious. And my wife has got to the point to where she said, "Derek, just don't say anything. Don't say anything." I'm saying, no, he's walking through my yard. Hey, you stop. Right? And so, but then this is the thing, though. As I do that, because I live in Frisco, and then it's gonna be some people say, well, I graduated from Lincoln, so I'm from South Dallas. I still got some South Dallas attitude in me
Already.
as
Yeah,
far
you
as
ain't gonna never
in my
lose
approach
that.
to being bold about what I believe in, right? So when I stop some of these young brothers in Frisco and tell them, hey, man, look, you just don't do that. As far as where I'm from, you walk through somebody's yard, you can get
You
shot.
can't get shot.
Okay, so me planting that seed with that kid, which is saying you need to respect other people's property, also respect yourself. Don't put yourself in situations like that. I owe it to the younger generation, whether it's niece, nephew, whether it's my kids, whether it's your kids. We have to get back to that community to where we are each one teach one.
Mhm.
That's where we're failing each other. I mean, we're sitting here upset about somebody getting hugged. We sitting here upset about somebody giving a Bible. We upset because she only got 10 years. And Andre Emmett's killers still out there on the street.
And do you know what's so crazy? That incident with the hugs had so many of us arguing with each other. We so programmed to hate each other.
Yeah.
But I don't. And my thing is, and let me just clarify, my issue with the judge hugging the defendant is more ethnical than emotional.
It's like an ethics thing.
Yeah, I
That's
get
like-
what you're
like
saying. She
you
should have
at
done that in the
work,
tank.
You
Yeah.
at work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
she
it.
should have done that in
You
tank.
can go.
Yeah,
You can go in the
yeah.
chambers and do
Or
whatever.
chambers,
But-
yeah.
I mean, well, I mean,
I do
that's
get
how I
that.
feel about it. If you want to give her a Bible, you know, she gonna be somewhere for 10 years. So you gonna know the address, so you can send that mug anytime
Like,
you want to.
shout out
You
to
know
my
what
boy
I'm saying?
Justin Moore. She gonna be at Lulu. She at Lulu.
She in Lulu right now.
Right.
Nigga, did you
Yeah.
see the meme when they had Amber spray painted above her cell? They was like, so she won't walk into the room.
What?
You know the internet is. The internet has no chill.
No.
You right here.
Nigga, they had Amber spray painted above her cell. They said so she won't walk in the wrong cell. I said, boy, the
I-
internet.
but-
ain't-
Where's the camera?
the internet? All of them, all three of them.
You looking at me? I am not laughing at that Mimi. See that? I'm not laughing at
Better
that.
clear this name.
My
Man.
name is Derek.
No,
Nah,
man.
but,
I mean,
you
Hey,
know,
but we need to get off.
I think a lot of us were more hurt. I know I was more hurt than angry because I was just like,
I'm
damn,
I can't be.
it happened again.
I'm neither shocked nor appalled. I knew. That,
I wasn't surprised, Flam. I ain't gonna lie to you. I wasn't like, oh my God, are you serious? It was more so, damn, man, here we go again.
But that's the same way with school shootings. I mean, to me, we have become desensitized to the value of life, man. And I think it goes to, and like you were talking about before, video games. You said no, it's not video games. I will say this though, when you take a look at games like Gran Turismo, you know, as far as just how violent it can be, how it perpetuates violence. I know you're gonna say a strategy to it. But what I'm saying is it's difficult. It's difficult for, I think it's becoming more and more difficult for kids who are a little left or right of center as far as being emotionally balanced.
Right.
When they look at these video games and say, oh man, my dude just died. Let me restart the game. There you go. I got 3 more lives. And life now has become just like that video game, to where it's just like, man, I'll just hit select up, down, left, right.
Now
and then
unlimited
I can
lives.
I got unlimited lives. And it's they cannot understand the fact that no, you have one.
Derek,
Okay,
I'm gonna say this. This where it circles back to the parenting part of, if you believe up, down, select, right, A, B, start, really
country.
makes sense in the real world.
Country was dope though.
Where have somebody stopped you and put you on the show like, nah, son, no, daughter,
But all of us,
it doesn't make
but
sense.
all kids haven't been.
No, but it's still,
They haven't been lucky or fortunate enough to have parents like we had.
Stop letting the village raise your child.
No,
Let me question y'all on this then. Okay.
Sometimes
These same video games are played all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tokyo, England,
Right.
Germany.
Right. Now go ahead and
But
ask
Flynn, we need to have more nigga like
Wait,
you said.
wait.
Like you said once, we need stricter
Let him
punishment.
ask it. Let him ask
We
it.
need stricter.
I know what he. Go ahead and ask your question.
Them folks ain't shooting up school.
They don't have guns like we have
There you
guns,
go.
man.
Ain't no
They
NRA
will
over
take a knife.
So,
They will
okay.
take a hatchet. They will
Okay.
take
Okay.
a sharpened piece of wood from a tree.
They got
and
prison.
go in.
They still
Go
got
in.
prison.
Police in Paris. A police
making
in Paris,
prison
because they
checks.
going through it in Paris right now.
Yeah.
You talk about the DPD is suffering from low morale. Man, the Paris Police Department is suffering. They suffering, right?
Yeah.
Dude went into a Paris police station
Yeah,
and killed 4
start
people.
busting.
Not with a gun.
Oh, wasn't a gun.
But with a knife.
Yeah.
Because that's all he could get his hands on.
So you think that was a video game?
Hey, he was living his Rambo life at that particular time, man. I'm serious.
He was living
I
his
think
John Rambo.
he was just like, he went floor to floor. And because he didn't have a gun, because in other societies, guns are not as readily available as they are here. I think we might have, 3 guns to every citizen in this nation?
So is it the video games or is it the guns then?
I think it's both of them. I think it's
Okay,
both.
well, don't just say video
I think
games.
it was
Say
both.
guns and
Nah,
video
Well, you
games.
gotta have a gun.
Now, we just got around and there. Y'all been on video games this whole time.
Boy, you get defensive about video games.
Oh, we see how Flynn feel about video games.
No, it's not about me saying
Pac-Man.
Now, what I don't like about people, what I don't like about society, like we be having these silver bullets. Like we just fix this thing, everything. We take crack out, then crack go. Everybody else in the
Oh, no,
neighborhood
hell no.
gonna go to school, get degrees,
Man,
and we gonna all live
speaking
like the
of
nigga
crack-
high low.
Speaking of crack.
No,
You
I
know,
was about to have a moment.
But the truth be told, though, it's functioning crackheads who've been smoking.
Oh,
crack.
hell yeah. I know a couple.
And they go
Got all
to
they
work.
teeth?
They hold jobs. You can't tell them from the next man. So crack ain't
Well,
stopping
you can a little
everybody.
bit.
Yeah, crack.
They
Now,
still got
coke,
that
I think
twitch.
that's different.
Nah.
Crack. Yeah.
Crack, they still got that twitch.
But I'm saying though, it's not stopping them from living productive lives. So you can't just say, well, crack is just killing everybody, because this motherfucker is an anomaly.
I know
to
what-
your fact.
I
to
know
your
what drug
fact.
you can't do and be functional. That damn heroin.
But
you
that's
show me somebody who can do.
But man,
No,
hey,
but see, they don't say heroin destroyed black neighborhoods though.
But they didn't start setting opioid crisis until when? Start hitting suburbs.
I
Kids
mean,
start popping pills.
That's
But hell,
anything though.
it's been an opioid.
That's any
epidemic.
problem. That's any problem in America.
it goes back to what I
As
just
soon-
said.
Yeah,
It-
so
it's
it ain't gonna,
affecting-
people who can say it ain't gonna be a problem for the country until the people who vote, the majority of the votes,
Absolutely.
start
Until
be like,
it's-
hey, this is a
yeah.
problem. Cause
Yeah.
no government, no politicians, nobody gonna listen to you if you ain't got the power to put them in office or take their ass out.
Absolutely.
Right,
Cause-
but we do have the ability though to sweep up our own corners, right? We have the ability to say, hey, look, if this is an epidemic within our neighborhood, we can change this.
Yep.
And I'm saying, growing up, at my grandmother's house, man, it was scary seeing my grandma go to. This was before I knew what a trap house was. But for her, and then for my great aunt to be like, y'all need to take this somewhere else, you know, and the dope dealer looking at like, man, who is this crazy old lady?
Yeah.
What's the crazy old lady that's gonna stand in front of the house and tell all the dope heads, now you got to go somewhere else. You got to go somewhere else until that house gets boarded up and then knocked down. So was I afraid? Oh yeah. I didn't even have the heart to stand next to my grandmother while she was doing her vigilante. Like, no, I'm standing up to the dope dealers and the dope heads. So we don't have to wait for people to declare a national epidemic. If we see the problem at our doorstep, then it's up to us to say, hey, man, we can stop this or we can affect this.
And I bet you them D-boys love your grandma to this day.
Oh yeah, you know they didn't really mess with the older people in the hoods. In any hood, they're not really gonna mess with the older people.
I mean, nowadays they probably just get you shot.
Well, these young cats
that was back when I'm 42.
So that was what I'm saying.
30 years ago.
I bet you them D-boys now probably.
They have zero respect.
They gonna play some Grand Theft Auto and then go kill your grandma.
Exactly.
See, Flip, you getting it?
Finally,
we finally broke through them. It took us about an hour to change.
23 minutes.
He gonna smoke some crack, play some Grand Theft Auto, then shoot your grandma.
Oh man, don't forget the hair roll.
He gonna come back and do some hair roll.
But Derek, man, we chopped it up earlier, and man, you really got an interesting story. So man, tell about you. I mean, you just not just South Dallas moved to Frisco and said, you know, George Jefferson on this thing. So tell his journey. How did you get here, and where you at now?
So I think Dunning might have hyped me up to y'all more than I deserve. I'm a writer in my spare time. That's what I do with my free time, and I think that it's important for us to tell our story, right? And that's one of the ways that I see me making an effect or taking an effect on society as well. Being able to get our stories out there, that especially when it comes to making people laugh, but then also sliding in a subliminal message, right? I think I started writing stage plays when I was a junior in high school, and I won a national playwriting contest going into my senior year. I put it on the back burner when I got to North Texas when I met Donnie, just because I was too afraid to major in theater or to major in writing, and plus Denton just was not a hotbed for entertainment, right? So I put it on the back burner, but then I started writing again about 12 years ago. I started writing stage plays. I've written, directed, produced 4 shows locally. No, 3 shows locally. I still have a script sitting on my computer that I haven't done anything with, but I've been grinding to a certain extent. The people that were in my first show that I ever put up, one called me from New York, was telling me, hey, man, you need to get your stuff up here. I'm like, man, what are you doing in New York? He said, I'm in the color purple. Yeah, in the color purple. Dude was in color purple, for real, like on the website and everything else. Shout out to Akron Watson. And then next thing you know, he was in Hamilton. He was in one show. There's 2 other actors. One is on American, about Soul Train, American Soul.
Okay, yeah.
She's on American Soul. Jeremy's doing some stuff on BET. And I'm currently working on a web series right now about a black actress.
I think that's dope. And I'll be real, like you say comedy. I watch I follow, it's funny, I follow Carrie, I think it's Carrie Boy. He's this guy, he's on Instagram. He started with Instagram started with 1-minute clips.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went to IGTV. Now he's on YouTube. And we stage plays and stage plays is, when I think of stage plays outside of Broadway, Hamilton, the ones you mentioned, you think of Tyler Perry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, when I do hear people say stage plays, I want to hear also it's good to have that lane, but also how are you getting at the social media, like you said, a web series? How you still getting your content to viewers that may not come to a stage play? Because I know a stage play takes a lot of production.
Oh,
The cost of it your idea may be dope, but the cost may overwhelm your idea. Where you can probably do that same idea on like say a web series, and still get it out there and get some attention to it.
Right now, the concept that I've been working on lately, we're going to attack it from a YouTube sense. We'll probably try different platforms, simply because it's a tight enough project to where eventually we feel as though someone may make an offer to where we take it to. You were talking about Amazon TV.
Yeah, I mean you can just
Netflix
drop your stuff
or something like that. So.
Yeah.
Eventually, that is our plan. Is to we'll hit up a couple of festivals, whatnot, and like this project is so. I think it has so much promise. When somebody tell you, okay, well here you got to sign this non-disclosure act. Like, man, what is an NDA? Why do I have to do that? Especially if it's my idea or whatnot. But it's just one of those legal things to where you do it to protect yourself.
Yep.
So eventually, the plan is to get it out to the masses. I'll be coming back to y'all asking for a free commercial, a plug, and
No doubt.
so hopefully get the word out.
Hey, we gonna. Hey, I'm finna get mine together. So what we talked about, so I can get
Right.
to you. You said to start out. You did say something about festivals. I'll be telling these guys, man, the way and kind of go what we saying about how we building our own culture and how we owning our own culture to get our own power and we know our own influence. The African American Film Festival.
Yep.
4 years ago, 4 years ago, it was just it was a festival in Miami. They had an all white party. Tickets was like $175. They was premiering Power and Black Panther. Seriously. Now, like last year, the tickets went to $350.
Yeah.
And then like the ambassadors was like Regina Hall, like people that and it's not like you can't talk to them. It's like they having these open panels for curators to go and voice their opinion, and then if they like your opinion, they'll pull you to the side and talk to you. And those are opportunities that you can gain just off effort, not just off spending a lot of money.
Right.
So,
Man, I want to talk to you about your creative process and like what do you think is a good story or what makes a good story? Cause I was sitting back and I think it's called like this dude wrote a book called A Hero of a Thousand Faces, and he was basically saying he was going back through all like great stories from like even biblical stories and like great novels and stuff, and he was saying all the great stories have the same basic format. So I want to ask you, like, what do you think makes a good story?
I think if you can make it relatable, that's gonna make it a great story. And then also if it has a purpose, right? So like what you just said, even biblical stories. The very first stage play that I wrote was called My Father's House, and it was about a young man being raised by his mother and his stepfather. The stepfather was really strict on him, wanted to embed, what a real man is to this young dude. It takes place during his senior year of high school. The main character, his name is Braxton. What ends up happening, though, is Braxton's biological father comes up on the scene, a guy who had not participated in his life at all. Well, he comes on the scene because he's suffering from kidney disease, and he needs a donor. Well, now you got this. You have different confrontations. You have man versus self, man versus man versus society. When you're able to hit all of those aspects of a story, that's something that somebody's going to be able to relate to, right? Because at this situation where the cool dad step in and say, man, look, I need a kidney. Here go the keys to a BMW. And everybody in the house is saying, wait a minute, what are you doing? As a boy saying, I got a BMW? I'm in the wind, right? Yeah. And all of a sudden, this hardworking stepfather who has put this boy through high school and has prepared to get him to college is thrown to the back burner. But then as the story comes around and he realizes at that particular time, his eyes weren't open to the fact that his father had some different means by showing up, his biological father. When that does happen, he realizes what a letdown it is, and he realizes that this biological father has not been in his life. So then he has that revelation that a real man is who his stepfather was. That's who he aspires to be. Not this super cool dude who he finds out, owns car lots and everything. What he really wants to be is like this baker who grinds it out and who provides for his family. And it's hard on him, but he's hard on him with a purpose, right? So I sat back and I wrote that story, and I did not realize how much it reflected the prodigal son, because in my play, he left home, right? Left home just like the younger son did, and then turned around. He realizes at his biological father's house, there's nothing over here for me, because the biological father, he's smoking weed one day, when he walked in, and the biological father said, man, look, I don't have nothing over here for you. So now he ended up having to go back home. Well, when he go back home, it could have been, no, you grown now. Like done hitting him in the chest. No, get back out there, right? But instead, he was embraced, and his mistakes were forgiven. And that's just like the prodigal son. He come back home, they slaying the fatted calf, right? So I didn't realize that story kind of mirrored the prodigal son until it was all said and done, and I'm sitting here watching him performing on stage, and it hit me. I'm like, man, there it is. It came full circle. So what you were talking about before, I think what really makes a story a good story is being able to hit on those different forms of conflict: man versus self, man versus man, man versus society. And when you get all of those combined, and you're telling a story that somebody can relate to, I was raised by my stepfather and my mother, but he's not my stepfather. That's my daddy. You know what I mean? Because he's been there for me. He's whipped me, and I'm not violent. He's whipped me to the point to where he put discipline in me, and I respect him. Father's Day, it's only one card being bought, and it's one card being bought for him. And I love him with all my heart, because I know that I wouldn't be the man that I am today without him. And so that I think I say all that to tell you that, to me, that's what makes a good story, is being able to sit back and relate to it. A play that spun off of that was called Love Seat, and it's about marital counseling. And if you ever been married or in a relationship to where a love seat, it's called Love Seat. A love seat can be a place where you pull her to the couch so you can kiss her, do everything else that you want with her. The couch can be a place where she say, you know what, I had enough of your mess. You're going to have to sleep out there on the couch. And then that same couch, that love seat, can be a place where you come together to get counseling and to solidify your relationship, so you bringing it full circle.
Yeah, that sounds
good, man. It's dope.
George R. Martin said the only thing worth writing about is the human heart in conflict with itself. So that's basically what you was just describing in all of that. And the story that I was alluding to as well as the book, The Hero's Thousand Faces, they were saying that the only story that's worth writing is, okay, you got this person, and they in a situation of contentment, and they realize they want something.
Mm-hmm.
So they leave that contentment seeking something else that they think they want. And in the process of trying to find out what they want, they go through a lot of things, which ends up bringing them back to where they started, but they're changed. By the journey leads them changed forever, and they'll never be the same person again.
Man, I need to get the title to that book.
It's Hero of 1,000 Faces. Yeah,
that's nice. And that's kind of what I just told you about.
Yeah, exactly.
That one character.
That's why I wanted to hear from you before I said it. You basically just said exactly what I was thinking you was gonna say.
I'm texting myself right now. I'm not being rude.
You good, man? You good? So I think we probably about to get up out this thing here in a minute, man.
I know it may be short, but I think we got right to the point. We had good topics.
Yeah.
Spider, what you want to talk about? How was your week?
Pussy.
Wait, what?
What about pussy in particular?
What about
would you like to talk about?
Look, let's be scientific.
Let's break this down.
Man, Spider
had the left moment tonight.
Hey, man, Derek, man, anytime you want to slide back through.
Yeah, man. No
what's
doubt.
Conversation.
What's your top 3 movies right now that what you watching right now?
What am I watching right now? And y'all gonna get mad at me just because you like, why are you watching that? Blackish is one of the most creative.
Oh man, you have no
agree,
idea.
man.
That's one of my favorite
For
shows.
20 minutes of content.
It's too preachy, man. I don't like it.
I love
No,
Blackish. I
it's-
love Blackish.
bro,
You
like,
are all people.
bro,
The knowledge that show drop.
the creativity,
I
the
don't need no
creativity
more
of it.
I love that show.
It's amazing. Now I don't think Mixers gonna do it. I think it's something about Mark Paul Glossier, and I just told you I like Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
Zach
But
Moore.
Zach Moore, it's something about him
He had that big ass
that
cell phone.
that right.
The
break.
Hey, the dope boys.
Zach pulled up was like, hey, I got
Zach
you.
put up with the
But
Nino Brown.
I think everything since that character he really hasn't just strived
Yeah.
like been good. And I don't know.
It's a lot of kids.
I don't know
stories
what
like
mixture's gonna go, but I like I said,
Yeah.
I think Blackish is gonna be just as dynamic as the Jeffersons, just as dynamic as the Cosby Show, just as dynamic as Freshman. Like man, it's just really a good it's a good show about hip hop culture and how we you still kept the culture, but you went into corporate America, whereas or the medical field. So what else though?
Besides that, the spinoff Grownish. Now my wife
like
was
Grownish.
watching
I
that.
haven't
yeah,
gotten into
and-
Grownish.
Run is dope.
Man, yeah,
Yeah,
and
Grownish don't. They
I
don't give
haven't
it
got
yet.
into it yet.
to me, Grownish is hitting on a reserve that we say what we want to about Bill Cosby, but when they had a different world, what it did was I think it inspired some of us to go to college
Yeah.
just because you
Yeah.
wanted to see and experience what they were doing,
Especially
right?
HBCU.
Right. So that's how we ended up at UNT.
It was
but-
great.
But I think Grownish is also planting that seed of, hey, get outside your house, explore some things, learn some things on your own. And then I also watch Arrested Development. Now that's an old program, but I watch that more from a creative standpoint, just to get some. It's almost like an analysis of what's going on and how I'm creating my work. Just because I really respect the way that their comedy comes across. It's a little bit of a dark comedy sometimes.
That's interesting because I thing is me and it go back to I agree with Flynn. Like Flynn, TV doesn't ruin your child. Can't ruin a person because what I'm realizing now with the way TV's going, they have to adapt to change because of where content is going. Content is not going to the big NBC, ABC, or CBS. So now I look at TV different. Like for example, you said Arrested Development. That came from NBC, right?
Yeah, and
So that
that's
mean-
being it's streamed
it was
right
a-
now. But
But
you
no,
know,
no,
wait,
originally-
Fox show.
yeah, it was Fox. It was Fox. It
okay.
was
That
Fox.
was
okay,
the
okay.
early 2000s, I think.
Right.
Okay. So I just look at I look at NBC. They court like the type of comedy they have a lot of comedy writers. So a lot of their content that come out of NBC, and a lot of their actors you can tell following them through their journey. It's gonna be a lot of comedy. Jason Bateman and Paul Rudd and you know what I'm saying, and those examples. And then you have CBS where CBS had a lot of what's dude that did Bad Boys and Jerry Bruckheimer and dude that did Transformers. They have a lot of action.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I pay attention to that as I continue to move, as I continue to look at how I want my content and how I want to build my story one day when I do film, building that art of it. And that be my repository, my dictionary. So I don't know what I'm watching right. What else you watching? That was 2. That was 3.
Yeah, those 3. And then the other thing is, and my director and producer, he kind of gets on me because he's like, man, what are you watching? Why aren't you watching this? And really, it's just because a lot of the stuff is carbon copy police shows as far as so they rip a lot of stuff out of the headlines and then they just formulate it into.
I can't watch
storylines.
SVU. I think SVU is one of the crooked SVU. No, it's because how they doing some illegal it's crooked.
Hey,
the
bro.
way you getting people to admit guilt is real
Man,
crooked.
personally, I think that anybody who can sit down and watch a SVU marathon, man, you need to look at yourself.
Yeah, man.
Oh, wait. So you say the video games is inspiring Einstein, but if you looking at SVU, then that's where the line is drawn.
Yeah, I mean, but look, man, it's just like how much fucked up shit can I show you in 30 minutes? And then at the end of the thing, either 2 things gonna happen. Either the person who done it gets away, which is all fucked up, or the person who did it went to jail, which is all fucked up.
Yeah.
Because these, especially with sexual crimes, cause it just means somebody went to jail and somebody just
Right.
like fucked up for life,
And
and
this
you just watch this over.
And this show
and
been
over
running new
and
episodes for over like
over and
30,
over.
like 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been on for
Easily.
a long
You know,
time.
Did
that shit
y'all
on for
finish
a long
watching
time.
Southside?
I watched that. Did you catch
I
up on
haven't watched-
Southside?
Yeah,
I haven't
finished
finished watching
it.
Southside.
Bro, you
That
ain't watch
shit's
Southside?
hilarious.
Nah.
You
But
never seen
Bruh.
Southside?
I've never seen it.
That shit's hilarious, man.
Is
now
it
I
like-
have watched Snowfall. Snowfall,
Snowfall is
and
my
I know you
shit.
said you didn't want you don't watch
My
Snowfall.
thing, my
but-
thing is, if I were, like I told you about, I think New Jack City was like it's the best drug movie I ever watched. I just I love it. Like I love the actors in it. I mean Nino Brown was man, god damn Nino Brown. Nino Brown, I'm talking about.
So what did you like so much about New Jack City?
Man, how the infrastructure, the structure of how he had the Carters, the nightlife, the hip hop. You know what I'm saying? The New Jack Swing era was amazing. You know,
Oh, yeah,
I
Teddy
think
Riley killed that soundtrack.
right. But my thing is, I would love to see a new drug movie, but I want to see like I want to see how the pills like came through, or some other than how they breaking down stuff and getting it in other than.
So you
want
to see something about like bath salts, people eating each other's faces?
It's
different.
The millennial.
The thing about
drugs.
New Jack City was like it was like 4 stories in there, and they all blended together at the end, you know, and they all could have been like pretty good stories on their own.
But
you
had the drug dealer, you had the ex-cop, you had
Yeah.
the crackhead.
You had Nino and his brother situation. You know what I'm saying?
Man versus man.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
yeah,
you had
you
all
got
those,
that like how he got in the game because of his brother.
Yeah, you
Okay.
had all those stories, and they all came together. Like now, when you see drug movies, it's more about. It's almost just like the kind of almost like a braggadocious
Yeah,
type
you want to
situation.
flex. Everybody
yeah,
flexing.
Yeah.
See, I got one for you though. So this is gonna combine HGTV. That's something that is always on in our house. HGTV plus your drugs, right?
Oh, what the hell?
Damn.
It's
Cooking up with Martha Stewart.
well, no, almost. It's called Untrapped, and it's about a dope dealer who decides to renovate. He want to go straight with his money. He's gonna renovate his trap houses and revitalize the neighborhoods where the trap houses are by remodeling them. See, like your homeboy, you rent out these houses.
Yeah.
Now the problem is he don't necessarily understand the rules to the game. So you got this 1,200 square foot house. He putting travertine and granite countertops and solid wood doors. He putting all this stuff together, and then when people pull up to see the house, they look around at everything else. Like, man, I can't
live here.
I can't pay $200,000. And really, it also gets at the fact that of what's going on, like in West Dallas and parts of South Dallas. Man, growing up, it was parts of South Dallas you wouldn't want to walk through at night, right?
No.
Now you see people walking their dogs and all that.
Oh, they done gentrified it, man.
Yeah. And see, that's part of HGTV, Dope House, and gentrification.
You remember,
and you bring it all
you
together.
remember Trinity Groves area back in the day?
Oh yeah. Over off Singleton.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Now, like you say, now you can walk your dog and, man, listen, roller skates. Girl gonna tell me we go get some skates. I
Stop
said, man,
the ice cream truck. It's
It's
weird over there, man.
yeah, man. But it used to be bad as shit back in the day.
Man,
It used to
Derek,
be real
man,
bad.
we appreciate you pulling up on
No,
that.
man. Thank you for having me. I
man.
appreciate
man,
the invite.
Yeah,
I
it's
know
been nice,
your
man.
type. We do it every Friday, man. You can pull up on us.
Yeah. Especially when you get your play going, man. I got some ideas for some plays, man.
Man, I just wanna come through with a
bet
Chuck
you
E.
do.
Cheese hat and some cowboy boots,
This nigga here.
like a
Yeah.
rhinestone cowboy.
What the hell?
He been acting good. He been good tonight. Normally, shit. He says,
Nah, man,
Time to get some coffee.
well, we ain't got no liquor.
Yeah.
See, normally we
No.
have liquor.
Yeah,
Oh,
see?
okay.
But we ain't got no
But
liquor.
nah, man, appreciate it, man. Spider, what
Yeah,
we
no
going
doubt,
out on?
man.
I guess old school DJ drama for you tonight.
Already.
Okay,
Right
let's
on,
go.
right on.
Maybe.
Everybody, we sure appreciate y'all tuning
man,
in
thank you for tuning
again.
in,
Once
man.
again, happy
Episode
birthday to
58.
the Source, man.
Source,
You know,
man,
enjoy
turn up
yourself.
for us.
Hit the jackpot, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, this is DJ D-Boy Fresh the Charming Asshole.
Man, it's knowledge, man. Y'all keep achieving.
It's your boy Flam, yeah. We out.
Yeah, peace and love, everybody. Peace and love.
You don't make it precipitate. You know,